I'm here today, and we've had a bit of a pivot. Our guest today cancelled, but it's okay. We've got other things that we need to cover. Some interesting topics for today, and there was a theme that was running through my mind. Anyway, it's funny how when you're focused on one thing and then it actually morphs into the real thing. And so we'll go through that as well. So the evolution of fatherhood, it evolves as we're speaking. So we're here. We're going to learn a little bit today. We're going to go through. So this week is World Tourism Day. So many of you probably don't know that I live in Bali, and I have lived in Bali for 10 years now. And with my son, who was 1 when he moved over here, 1 and a bit. He wasn't 2 yet, but he was 1 when we moved over here. So he's very much enshrined in the Balinese culture as well. Like, even though he has Western parents, but he has had a lot of exposure. I remember at the beginning, and as a story from a father, is that we were looking for a nanny or a pembantu for our son, because we generally get busy, and we had some rules around the pembantu, like we discussed. We need somebody who can drive a car, somebody who can speak English, somebody that can swim in the pool, somebody who can teach him school stuff, right? And the way Bali delivers was a beautiful message of, we found this lovely person called Putu, but she doesn't know how to drive a car. She can't speak much English. Well, she's much better now, but El car is nearly 11 years old now, so it's like a long time. So she couldn't speak English. She couldn't drive a car. She didn't know how to swim. So all those things went out the window. But you know what? She was absolutely perfect for him. And even though he's growing up a little bit older now, and she's become, she stayed with the family, and she's cleaning our home, and we're supporting the families and getting, people to do the roles. So I mean, we've got these little communities that happen around us, right? And as far as being in the evolution of fatherhood, that's what it is, right? We as fathers have to put ourselves, our families in a situation where they're being fully supported, right? So in our lifestyle in Bali, we can do that, and so that was one of the things I wanted to bring up in the conversation this morning, because it's one of those things where this is live, and so I don't get to do the retake, we love it all more for the purpose. I need this, mate. Sorry, I need it for the thing. He wants my charger, which is one thing that I wanted to use today to show you something on my phone on the call today. So he's still hovering. I'm not sure what he wants. What are you after, buddy? Beg your pardon? Can you give me 10 minutes and I'll give you the charger? Okay. Awesome. All right. He's got to come and say hello. You don't even know who I'm talking to. It's my mystery friend, my mystery child, but he's just here in front of me. But he's gone back now. He's going to work on these things. But he knows. That's what I mean. It's like, I'm not that pedantic that it makes it that we don't, as a family, like this is impeding on his environment as well, right? My office is central to my home. I make sure that I have, access to everyone. I'm not like away in a corner somewhere where I can't be disturbed. It's more that I'm, like I say, I'm going to be at these times be a lot more focused and busy on what I'm doing with my live calls. So yeah, as I said today, we have had a bit of a cancellation on our guest speaker. So I've had to do a bit of a pivot, but it was exactly what I had an idea of where I wanted to go with the call today as well. So it was so I'm going to go that way anyway. Without the guest. So there's a little bit of background on how this all call is, how it's happening, and the real time of what's actually happening in my house when I'm going through this call as well. So bear with me. It's one of those days where you've got lots of interaction. I think there's a full moon around, so there's probably things buzzing around us, wanting your attention, and that isn't life like that, right? Okay, so let's jump into our presentation. Okay, here we go. So it's my little makeshift presentation because it's a secondary presentation that I was I hadn't prepared earlier. So I'll keep my other presentation for another day. Okay, so the introduction, the evolution of fatherhood. This is my link tree. You can click on that link tree, or you can scan on that link tree, and in all my socials, all the evolution of fatherhood socials will come up, and you'll be able to select whether Instagram, Facebook groups, communities. All that's listed on there. Even if you want to direct message me, and if you want to become a guest, which is most important, if you want to support, you don't have to be a father. I had a friend today I was talking to about this beautiful thread that was happening on Facebook, out of my control, but it was about me. and I was talking to him, and I was saying, I'd love him to come on because he's very entrepreneurial. He's built this beautiful business in Bali. And when I met with him last time, he told me what he was doing and how he was, implementing the AI into his business. And so I'm going to get him on there. However, he's not a father. He doesn't have children, but he's still got, I think the point of this evolution of fatherhood is that we're all fathers, right? We had young Slade on. He's not a father, but he's actually being a father, giving back to, the pathway to manhood that he didn't have. So he's kind of like, that's the way he's becoming a father figure, or he's going into that manhood role where everyone can, see his path and puts himself out there. So it supports others in the process. And I call that fatherhood, right? It's a beautiful thing for me to see, because I like stepping into that role as well, because I know that we've got a lot to offer, all of us. Our stories are unique, and our stories are poems, our stories are art. So let's celebrate those. But now we're going to put some AI into it to make sure that we immortalize it, right? So the advancement in technology that's going to help us immortalize our existence, is something that I'm really excited about. And this topic today is about World Tourism Week, which is so awesome, because AI is changing the landscape. And I went to the World Tourism Day at the Desert Potato Head in Seminyak yesterday with my good friend Amy. She is a chairperson on this ecotourism Bali board, and just seeing what they're coming, how they're getting, interactions and impacts on a governmental level, as well as on grassroots. They're getting investments. They're getting people with big followings and big influential positions in the community that are all jumping on board and working out how we can make tourism more sustainable on this World Tourism Day. Okay. Here it is. It's World Tourism Day, utilizing AI for sustainable tourism in Bali. Okay. So I think, So the rise of AI and fatherhood, how AI is changing. I'm just going to move this little guy out of the way because he's in my notes. I can't read my notes if he's if my image. That little guy that I'm talking about is me. My little image on the screen that's blocking all the words that I want to read. Okay, so how AI is changing the way we travel as tourists. Okay, so many of you may understand, but there's no prerequisite to knowing what AI is doing in the field of sustainability and tourism, right? So I thought, what a great opportunity, since it was World Tourism Week, World Tourism Day, and have sustainable and how AI is changing how AI is changing how we travel and how how we travel as tourists. Okay, so AI is changing the way travel and as we travel as tourists. On environmental sustainability. So AI can optimize travel routes and reduce carbon emissions, promote sustainable tourism practices, and support eco-friendly initiatives, aligning with the growing trends of responsible travel. So it reads the data and says, this is what people are looking for in their holidays. They will say, I want an eco retreat, where I can disconnect from, digital, interfaces, or I want to go on a silent retreat, or I want to, so they've got all these preferences to what they want to do, and AI can, optimize your search for that, so you can get more of what you're looking for. So it helps you to make informed decisions about, what type of environmentally sustainable tourism that you want to do. Okay, so it actually sits in the forefront of your searches. Virtual reality and augmented reality. So this is really cool. It's about having applications that provide immersive experiences. So you can actually visit the Tower of London before you go to the Tower of London, and actually give yourself these are the points of views that I wanted to do. Now you might ask, how is that helping me? Well, it makes me decide. If it helps me to make a decision when I look at it on the VR model, or the AR model, and I'm in there and I'm, I want to go back there. I want to go there in person to experience it, right? What is it? You can't get the smell, you can't get the, the feeling or the temperature of the room by being in there augmented, but you get the feeling that you want to be, right? And that prepares you a little bit more for the surprise you might get by going in there without any research, right? But these AR and VR models help us make a decision on what we want to do in relation to the models, right? So that's amazing. Language translation. So you can actually translate language as you're going along with AR. There's a Google app that you can just scan, hot sauce bottles. You can read street signs. You can even have a conversation. Like I have a man that has been, he used to be like a higher level security manager at one of the villas that I was managing here in Bali, and he retired. He retired probably 6 years ago. But I continue to give him odd jobs and stuff around that I need doing. Like it might be take my bike to go and get registered, or it might be go and change the tires, get it serviced, or it might be take the car to get washed or whatever. He will just come and just do it, and I just pay him to do all those jobs, right? But he doesn't speak. He's an older man, but he's still very young. He's muda, which is muda means young in Indonesian. So he's very muda, and he actually looks after himself in a way that he prides himself on doing these roles, being of service. So it feels good for me, and it's a win for me, and it's a win for him as well, and it feels good for him. But he doesn't speak any English, so he uses these translation apps, and he's using them himself. I showed him the app and he downloaded it on his phone, and every time I see him now, he's like, talks Indonesian into the app, and then the app talks to me in English, and then he'll do the same thing. He'll press the button and hand it to me, and I'll say, oh, this price has gone up. What's going on there? Has it been up? Is it gone up in the price? The government changed the charges, and he will respond again with the app. So we're having this three-way conversation with the app in the middle. It's hilarious sometimes because it's like it gets half words and stuff, but we laugh at it. But it's a way of communicating. I mean, I as much as I know about to speak Indonesian, I think that it's the interaction of us both being on this tool that makes us that bonds us a little bit more than just having an Indonesian conversation. So I like it, and I wouldn't want it to change. However, the more that we learn and the more he learns, and we will probably get to a point where we'll be able to speak broken Indo-English together and work it out what we're doing. And I think we're almost there as well after all these years. But it's still fun to pull out the app and have a conversation about it. In summary, AI is reshaping the tourism industry by providing personalized experiences, improving convenience, enhancing safety, and contributing to more sustainable and responsible travel practices. It empowers tourists to make informed choices and explore the world with greater ease and efficiency. Now, many of you probably don't know that I do have a travel company here in Bali called TripCrafter, and myself and my partner, we put together, my business partner, we put together we saw a gap in the market for tourists for retreats, and we thought, well, we could do like a standard model retreat, offer retreats at a base and compete with everybody else. But then we thought, well, why can't we be a little bit more individualized and have people host their own retreats, and we supply them with that. We supply them with the need, or with everything they need to host their own retreat. So in essence, we legalize the retreat, we put the retreat together, we help with their help, and they customize it the way they want. But with the use of AI, I can actually give them, the data that they need. Like, they need to have at least 20 calls or 20 people calling, interested in their retreat. Warm calls, active calls, I think they call them, for every one person that joins their retreat. So they sort of know by data how they're going to run their retreat, or how many people they're going to have at their retreat by the numbers that the data is giving them. So they're using AI, and I'm helping them use AI to create their retreats, which is really, really cool. And even though it's like the AI and the evolution of fatherhood is something that's totally different to the TripCrafter project that I'm doing, it sort of crosses over, especially when it comes to World Tourism Day. It's right, it crosses over, and we're looking to put more and more sustainable practices into our business and be sustainable ambassadors for Bali as well. And we can be right at the forefront of this change in the way that we travel. Travel on purpose, have a meaningful, like we were talking about in a meeting today, how AI suggested to us in our research that we can, as hosts or people hosting a retreat in Bali, could actually have they could be preserving the Balinese culture, and that makes me feel great, because I really want, and I know the Balinese people want that too. But I mean, I'm saying that doing my little bit that's not taking away from Bali, but also giving back a bunch. It makes me feel like I'm really engaged with what I'm doing, and it feels good. It's that win-win again, right? Where I'm win-win with all the relationships that I have within the trip crafter and the evolution fatherhood landscape. So that's pretty cool, right? So we'll jump to the next slide. So AI is playing a pivotal role in promoting environmental sustainability within the tourism industry in several ways. So there's smart resource management. So AI systems help hotels and accommodations optimize their resource usage. They search as, such as electricity, water, and heating, by automatically adjusting settings based on occupancy. So gone are the days where you've got this 100-room resort that has, like 10 rooms that are empty, that have their air conditionings running all the time because it's one big system through it, right? So with AI, they can shut it all off and control it from one particular base. It's not a massive big process to shut down certain things that aren't being used, that don't need to have that resource put to it. So you're saving a lot on energy, which is amazing. Carbon footprint reduction. Airlines use AI to optimize flight routes. So they reduce fuel consumption, they minimize greenhouse gas emissions. They also assist in maintaining aircraft engines to improve fuel efficiency. So how deep does it go with AI, and how it can help being a sustainable tourism, right? Eco-friendly accommodation selection. So AI-driven, I think we copied a little bit of this from the last page, but AI-driven booking platforms and apps offer information about eco-friendly accommodations and activities. So people that are out there that are specific about, changing their consumption or their carbon footprint can actually advertise that, and people can come and utilize that by having that choice, where, that's how the almighty dollar will change the way we do tourism, if we can give them options to do it in a more eco-friendly way. Do you know what I mean? So that's a, AI will revolutionize that, right? So maybe because at one point, at some time in the future, we could probably say that AI will become, with AI's help, that all tourism will be eco. There only will be footprints in the sand. There won't be, a mass, there's a lot to be done, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that AI potentially, and the trajectory that it's on at the moment, can actually make this happen in our lifetime, right? So it's a worthy cause, right? So it's a worthy cause. Okay, sustainable tourism and planning. So it analyzes data on tourist behavior. So we're actually following what people want. And so this is what I was saying about more people that want to do a retreat that's got sustainable aspects to it, or eco-friendly. They have more options, because AI finds the people that are advertising that, groups them all together, and gives them a better option to do eco-tourism with AI support. It's tourist behavior and environmental impact to assist tourism boards and creating sustainable tourism strategies, including identifying popular attractions and spreading visitation to reduce overcrowding in sensitive areas. So they can sort of map, like you can see with Google Maps, like an algorithm, so you can see that the traffic is blocked, and you can see, even know how long it's going to, with GPS can understand how long you're going to be waiting for to get through that traffic jam. It's the same with AI. It's reading where, there's a full, the high seasons in Bali, can be, we've noticed in Bali how the big influx of tourists in high season now. It's back to what it was before, and everyone's celebrating that. That's great. But if we had more AI involved in the way that the ticketing and how it was running, it can be managed better, right? So that you know, the at the time where we're you know, different regions can be, you know, posting their bonus or their, you know, their sales at certain times, rather than everyone free for all and then, you know, it all becoming crowded to spot, you know, one in hotspots, right? So there's a way of managing that. So I think that's a really cool thing. So what do you think about that? What do you think about AI regulating tourism and how it can make it more sustainable? And I mean, how much, I mean, I saw some numbers on how many, like, you know, it's millions of people coming to Bali now, right? There's millions of people coming to Bali, and that's not just Indonesia too. In Indonesia, there's millions of people, millions more coming to Indonesia, right? So this whole understanding how we manage the whole tourism industry is, it must be, you know, with the AI's ability to analyze data quickly, this is what we need. You know, we've always been saying it. That's what we need. We need some great, we need some help in managing the garden, you might say, which is our earth. And with AI, we can do that. And just by data collection and practices and doing what we can do, right? So that was where I wanted to go with that today. And I mean, I know it was a little bit of a pivot shift on our event, but you know, that's what we do. We have, you know, it was an impromptu type of evolution of fatherhood today, but there's some big things coming. I wanted to talk about impacts. I wanted to talk about how AI is changing how we you know, manage charities and do all that stuff, and that will come. That will come. It's a great topic, and I'm really excited about that, but it just didn't fit with today. But so what I wanted to do, just to finish off, I just wanted to show you like one little thing. Hopefully it'll work for me because I didn't get to test it. All right, so I want to share iPhone via cable. Okay, so bam, let me see if it does. All right, so you can see that, right? So that's TripCrafter. That's the company, right? So what we do is we just target influencers on Instagram. And so we offer all these different incentives to, you know, to people that want to do, you know, tourism. And it's, you know, Bali's best practices. We're looking at, you know, reducing consumption. We're looking at, you know, building the business around a sustainability, right? And not only just like having a vision for now, we're actually looking at it from a future when you know, 10 years down the track, where do we want TripCrafter to be? So we have this 10-year vision of TripCrafter and how it's going to look. At the moment, we've got this you know, close vision because we're just getting it off the ground. You can see it's like 170 followers, right? And I tell you that there's some people that are like, you know, the emails I'm getting and the interest that I'm getting is quite incredible, because they can see that we're ethically minded, that we want in our stories, it's all about, you know, how people can empower themselves to have an eco-friendly retreat, or they can have a retreat that they're going to feel like they're, you know, that's really a part of them, you know, something that will change other people's lives, that's directly, you know, linked to them and their stories and their influence, right? So yeah, so I went to World Tourism Day, and I'm not sure if this is going to work, but if you're like, you know, if I just open up my screen again, it's not going to show my password. That's good. Let me know if it does. So I don't know if this works, but let me just check. No, I don't think it does. So this is the World Tourism Day with Ecotourism Bali. That's my friend. Put together amazing speakers and presenters that are posting video on stuff like that. So I just whipped up a little reel from being there, and that's all. They're all government officials, and they're like restaurant owners. They've rolled out a plan. They've rolled out a guide for restaurants to be able to have test themselves. I'm really passionate about it. I'm really proud of Amy and the team and how they've done it, and I really enjoyed it. But anyway, I really enjoyed the event, and so if you've got some time, come on to TripCrafter, give us a few likes, send us a DM and say, hey, yeah, I'm interested in doing a retreat in Bali or anywhere really. And we want to be more sustainable. We want some, ethical, solutions behind our story. I've got so many people that I've, thousands and thousands of people over the years that I have, they've been to my retreats. They've been to experience what it's like to be in the environment of my retreats. And it's, I don't hold back on that. I'm stepping more and more into that space every day and knowing that, I'll outlay the pathway for you, right? And I guarantee you'll be able to follow that pathway and get a result. But I do say that you will always get what you came for, right? So I always stipulate the get what you came for. If you're looking for anything in particular, like, maybe a health and wellness retreat, that's incredible. We want to support you in that. We have amazing contacts that can put you together. I can put you together and these amazing retreat owners that have specifically created retreat spaces for health and wellness with, Ayurveda and the Fibonacci, sequencing and all that sort of stuff. So these are places that you would just blow your mind. And there's structures, they're bamboo, they're wooden, there's waterfalls and there's beautiful things that you can imagine you and 20 of your friends just sitting and having this week-long experience there, right? So yeah, I know it's a little bit of a tangent from the evolution of fatherhood, but it's so passionate. I hope it's coming through as how passionate I am about it, because it is a great concept and we believe in it thoroughly, and it's been rewarding already to go through the process of setting this business up using AI, understanding what the market is looking for, and the market feeding back through AI, who we target and who we talk to, and who's our ideal customer. All that comes from our AI data research. So, having a team, we've got a social media team in the background that's making all this content and relating it to certain topics. And that's how we do it. This is the day and age we're in. Now, I did talk to my team today and I read somewhere about there's during the COVID period in 2020, when we had the big lockdown. Now, the people that started their businesses in 2020 for services, unique services, have turned over, that amount of, business since COVID. So it's like they're exponentially growing, even because they've just stepped in the role of being a business owner themselves, right? So I'm here doing the same thing. I'm doing my best with what I've got. And I know, that, there's other things that I'm doing as well. I'm not just doing the Trip Crafter or the evolution of fatherhood. There's other things that I'm involved in, but they're things that are, being a business owner and having the weight of the outcomes and the weight of the people that want your services. It takes your world to a different perspective, right? Where you're forward facing to your clients and you understand that you're building your own business for yourself, right? And you're not building someone else's business for them. You're building it for yourself, right? So, I mean, it's not something that everyone will get a chance to do, but maybe some people should, and maybe some people should. If it's something that is called you, then maybe you should. But anyway, it came with me from that particular time to, make sure that I was going to, follow my dream and start a business, and that sort of came up. So I want to say thank you. My name's Shane from the Evolution of Fatherhood. I'm going to give my cord now back to my son now that I've finished my presentation, because I'm sure his iPad's probably running low and he needs some juice. And so I want to thank you all. I know it was a bit of an impromptu one today, but I hope you got some information out of it. I hope you really felt the passion that we have about Trip Crafter and how we want to make it a sustainable. We want to do a collaboration with Amy, actually, with Ecotourism Bali, and just make sure that all of our practices are in alignment with ecotourism in Bali, because we want Bali to last forever as well, right? And we want to, be part of, if our retreats can help, a culture, to save a culture, to make it more, to be able to assist in the, the culture being mainstream still and not being, put back into the past, which it's not, but it's more that, our practices need to include those future people, and those future people are the cultures of now that have survived the transition into this AI era, right? So yeah, we're here doing that, and if you've got any ideas or any perspectives around what you would like to see on the evolution of fatherhood, and how you want to change the way that you want to feedback on how you see the evolution of fatherhood is evolving and how you could participate, just message me and in a DM, or even like you've got my phone number there as well in my link tree. Send me a message and say, I'd love to just I've got this, I know I've got some retreat friends that want to come onto the call, and they're going to share the way they built their retreats and how they used the AI SketchUp or something like that to create these mock-ups of the retreats before they got built, and then they settled on a image and settled on a shape, and then they went out and built it. And then so there's amazing things happening out there. I know if it's making you I just want to bring this world into your lounge room, right? The world that I'm in and what I'm experiencing, I want you to see it from my eyes as well. So from me to you, I'm thanking you for your time, and hopefully you got some value out of this call. It was a little bit impromptu, and I feel great because I did the hot shoe shuffle. But I'm so passionate about, if you guys are, while you guys are still wanting this content to be delivered, I'm going to still show up and do it, even if people get double booked and wires get crossed. It's all going to happen still, right? I'm still going to jump in there and do what I can with what I got with with that today. So anyway, greetings to you all, and bye from Bali, and we'll hopefully see you in person soon, where we can catch up and have a smoothie bowl sometime. All right, bye.